get stuff to respond. I might need to no, actually my kick dashboard just kicked off. It's down with what we got going on. I had this Butterbean documentary, Dallas Diamond Page Yoga, which I actually have a DVD. I need to do it. Yeah, it's that. I've got it paused. The Great Butterbean. Oh, hey, Zeph, what's happening? I got my silly OBS over here, but my camera's over there. Yeah, man. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Good to see you. I guess did you get like a notification, or did you just happen to look up and boom, and I showed up? That happens to me sometimes. I'll be like, oh, look, such and such just came on. Yeah, it's very cool, man. Well, here, I'll get us something to watch. I was gonna watch this. I've got it in front of me, full screen over here, and which is gonna be kind of a whatever.
The first time I became aware of my guy was down doing a show in Alabama. Come back.
Hope you've been doing good.
Who won, Joe? He said, you ain't gonna believe this big fat guy.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Because I've seen a lot of fat guys.
You're showing up in the chat box on the stream. That's awesome.
Butterbean is one of those guys who, he was deceiving. You know?
Yeah, I think I had him put it on for 30 seconds. Stay on for 30 seconds.
Like a cartoon character. Here comes this guy.
It's sort of like that. Butterbean is kind of like a cartoon character.
Does not
really strong one.
Did you see the crowd's reaction when he was coming to?
Hardest to get. Yeah, I guess. Well, I haven't been on. Tom, honestly, I need to get in here and do. It's my goal to stream every day, like a couple times a day. Just haven't been.
Well, Bruce, we started back in 1970.
Just haven't been like a big old ding-a-ling.
Well, basically, the toughest man in town. You think you're the toughest man in town?
Maybe that's, yes sir, that's probably why.
Get in there and prove it. Don't tell me about it.
Yeah, it looks good having the chat on the feed coming out. That's awesome.
Because at a 400-pound weight, I weighed 420 at the time. I wanted a butterbean and chicken breast diet, and it wasn't so hot. So that's how the butterbean nickname come on.
Yeah, man.
You're pretty tough. I don't know. Oh, we'll see how tough you are being.
I wanted, to get Rocky the 18 and on a lot of things. So that's why I'm here to add credibility to the content. Let the guys know, like I won, they can win, and get on the bigger things themselves.
Did a fret job on this Kalamazoo.
With these guys in the bar, and they would fight each other 3 rounds of 1 minute.
Finally did like a level.
You convince yourself it's only 1 minute.
On the frets
so
with strings on, so the shape of the neck is accurate.
Out the window, and everything is just to murder your opponent
smooth them out
as fast as you can in front of it.
They have no finesse. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
And that's, I think, where Eric was different.
People probably looked across the ring and this is gonna be easy.
When he got in the ring and the bell rang, I was working cameras that night. I was right up there, like you can win the ring. And of course, he had no footwork or anything. It was just this. He walked like the mummy, back and forward. But when he got close to the guy, it was like, holy smoke.
Right on. Oh, 2, 3.
Kaboom. And that's that.
Yes, he was big, but he was connecting with punches. He was not just throwing in the air. He was literally connecting. That's why he discovered his gift right there with the tough neck competition.
Bob Aaron. Who's that fat asshole? I said, you watch him.
I need to post a couple places that I'm on.
God, he's a fighter. Had a tremendous punch.
Butterbean brought
Let's see. I'm
to the sport. That's like
in Mustard Network on going live notification.
He could see.
Let's find something here.
Butterbean was putting people in the stands.
Open up that field, hit clipboard.
They were sold out.
need to
Quick, sit down, Butterbean's coming on. He knew that
I need to clear out some of these old ones.
Split second, it might be over. Just like when Tyson first came around.
And I'll put,
Butterbean, if that's a sideshow, I don't know what they mean with the sideshow, because you did over 150 times.
Like, you have got probably the number
See if
one
I
or
can
two
find one.
of boxing in the world.
well, we know we're on
You
Kick
have.
and I'm on
You
YouTube
did
at
it 3 times,
same
so
time.
celebrity fighting and stuff like that. Okay, this is
Oh man, I've got a bunch of stuff on the clipboard in here. Good grief, I gotta clear this out.
And he started boxing.
Yeah, 4 years ago I was working in a mobile home factory, so it still surprises me.
Let's just hit this one.
You know, I had all the guys still there. They support me, and I'm having a blast.
After winning several amateur tough man competitions, he turned professional and is
Because
undefeated.
we
Cal.
pretty much look for each other on Kick.
What made you decide to turn pro?
Well,
That's the bottom right, so
I won 18 of
if I
them.
want to do that
And when I
again,
show up, let's say there was 20 guys who wanted to fight.
Let's
they
go
wouldn't
to-
fight me. They said they just dropped out.
Butterbean was appealing
streams.
to everybody.
the
Like
bottom
the average
hers.
Joe
Oh, she's got a bunch of people on stream
in
cord.
an arena watching De La Hoya
Oh,
or Evander
we're saying stuff.
Holyfield or somebody that is
Know that the
trained athlete.
word kaboom, I know
They're sitting there
that word very
talking
well
about
every time I
eating hot dogs. You can't relate to what
Yeah.
the guy has done to get to where he is. But
All
when
right,
Butterbean came
clipboard,
in, Butterbean
all
was
the
just
way to the
like
bottom.
that. It was like, holy smoke, that's my man.
Send.
Yeah. If he can do it, so can I.
Because you think that you can do what he does, but I'm here to tell every person
Let's go.
the shots that he could give, the shots he could take. There is no other Butterbean.
I could put it in.
What
No,
about a Tyson being in 4 rounds?
we always put it in this part on Necros, so I'll put it where we normally do.
Tyson. And probably
Open up that
put him
field,
out.
clipboard,
And I
all
do
the way
not
to the
know
bottom
where-
right.
Because if Butterbean had a
take care
hit,
of that.
he would have not come out.
There isn't a heavyweight in the UFC that throws a
And
shot
since I'm
like
not on the stream cord at
Bean would've
Luther's
been
Uprising, I
at the
need
right
to
spot
put
at
something
the right
there.
time.
So I'm gonna go to
So
the
many
bottom,
things in the MMA world.
After
show your
the-
work.
The king of the 4-rounders.
Where are?
Then it was all bravado from there on.
There's somewhere.
I was in high school still when he was still at peak. I would say my senior years when he started to kind of come toward that downfall.
The weight.
They've got more in here because this is.
always.
We'd get to Las Vegas, and he'd step on the scales, and the first thing Bob Arm and Sean Gibbons would do,
Show your
Look at
work.
me and
Studio.
what's going on here? How come he's
Questions?
so heavy?
It was an
General chat,
accumulation
hangout.
of A lot of years of battle, and as he would admit himself,
Something is-
not taking the best care of himself.
I think and wish we would have probably stopped.
I'm gonna go to my bench on here
Paycheck.
and add something there
How much more
because
damage are you doing to your body?
He didn't train for probably his last 10, 15, 25, maybe.
I'm gonna put one on my actual bench of the.
We're finally becoming at a fight.
server there, and hopefully I'll go back to the menu and it'll open up the other stuff that's. Because normally they got share your stream and there's just nothing here.
I knew after that it was done. I mean, you can't walk or stand up.
He ballooned up to well over 500 pounds, and he physically just started to fall apart.
He's a big guy. I mean, he's got blood sugar problems just like I do.
I was in a dark spot. I mean, honestly,
Man, once you stop moving,
I give up. Me and Libby talked about,
it's
you know,
just
who should get what.
Katie bar the gate, man.
Family treasure things to me that meant so much. I want
Us
to
big
go
guys, we
rest
have to
my body.
move all
I
the
really
time.
didn't think I was gonna live a couple more
And
years.
everything
I
works
think I was
fine.
another year.
Can eat kind
I
of
just
whatever.
felt that
Still
down,
better to eat
like,
good.
I had no energy. I couldn't do it. I mean, I was in a really bad spot.
Well, I guess that's. I'm gonna. Guess I'm just gonna have to share it there. I don't know where the share your stream went
Talk
on
about
here.
all the good stuff, but you never ever see where they're feeble.
Oh yeah, and I need to let go on.
It was a Christmas. He just couldn't get,
Does mute.
couldn't get up. Didn't think he'd live much longer. You know when you always
Ooh.
hear up here?
Live, by the way.
I've been friends
All right.
with Diamond Dallas Page longer than I've been friends with Butterbean. Man, I pushed
All
on
right, I'm
him,
gonna set that
pushed
aside
on
so
him,
we can
pushed on him for
hang out.
5 years.
Oh man, that's
He
very
went
sweet.
south
Thank
to
you,
Atlanta
Zap.
to work with Dallas Page.
I said, I ain't doing yoga.
I've got that DVD.
It's gonna help, man. It ain't gonna work. It's not possible.
And I just instinctively knew that that match is
I
what
just need to. I need to push through it.
Someone's not like, dude, no, I really.
All these guys. I mean, he was a pro wrestler. He's tore down, man. He was falling apart.
He just didn't believe.
He came up with that stuff for survival, just to get his back to work. If you do it, if you move,
I would never done it.
then you can make it. You just gotta move.
From Maui for popping up. We've got a big week this week. Our guest today is going to be Diamond Dallas Page.
We are starting to film a show in February that's called Change or Die. And I've got 5 spots.
Read the whole comment. Oh, I see you wrote something else.
Well, 4 or 5 people are to change.
Yeah, I need to. I was talking to Necro the other day.
Something finally clicked.
Yeah, it's past that on. It's really. I've got the font too big over here. It disappears in that little bitty chat window.
This man can. What excuse do you actually have that you can't do it?
Vidico and you were one of the names that I mentioned how you were all over the place. You seem to love and support everybody in the network. Yeah, oh, man, absolutely. Definitely. I want everybody to know they're loved and got support. Absolutely. And get out of my own way and just do stuff.
It's going to be so hard.
Gosh,
to get him to even.
I can't believe Eric was so stove up.
And Steve said, but imagine if
I walk better than that at least. But I'm getting pretty bad.
Has been pushing the boundaries of what if we can. And there's no reason for us to stop thinking that way, because the idea of butterbean walking again, it changes the perception of what's possible.
Because my hip, I feel it right here.
Have you not gotten hip replacement?
No. They're saying I'm too big.
There was no one who was worse off than me. His level of pain was off the charts.
That's why I'm watching this. You know why I'm watching this? Because I need to do it. I've got the DVD.
And some days it's like unbearable. Like
Big man, big heart.
You feel like laying in bed and not doing nothing, just trying to find a
Poor thing.
I don't do it. I keep going. Because I've been in that
Hard.
I've laid in bed for
Hurts.
years, not doing nothing. I can't relieve it. I didn't even
Oh my
have
gosh.
grandkids. I don't know how to really say it.
So amazing.
Looking for something to live for instead of just waiting to die. And that's what I
Don't understand the context of video. What's this about? This is Eric something Butterbean, the boxer, the guy that could knock out anybody. Like, he never fought Tyson, but he probably would have knocked him out. Nobody can punch harder than Butterbean. And anyway, he's a big guy just like me. If you stop moving, you die. And he's just arthritis sets in, pain takes over. I mean, he was a heavyweight fighter, like a champion heavyweight fighter. So you have scar tissue all throughout your body.
That's what I'm letting people call
Anyway.
What's his say, B?
DDP.
DDP what?
What?
Right. DDP what?
Years ago.
Anyway, this video is just introducing that he started trying Dallas Diamond Page, the wrestler, his yoga.
This is your right hip, this is your left hip.
DDPY, Dallas Diamond Page yoga. I've got the yoga DVD. I just need to do it. So that's context to this.
You have a BMI cutoff of 40, and so you work 6 before.
So it's about health and recovery, yeah. Which I know you can understand. I remember when he knocked out Johnny Knoxville. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like putting a squirrel in front of an alligator. Just, But look at his arms, it's like mine. Even though I don't work out, it's still got these like scary looking arms, dude. But he has to use those arms just to get up and down out of stuff, so his arms still strong.
It also surprised me much as
oh my gosh.
just the outlook on life.
This is an inspiration, man. Hey, it's JKS. How you doing? KCNKS.
3, 2, 6. Up 3, 2.
Focusing,
7,
breathing,
3,
working through it.
2, 7. Up 3, 2, 8.
Yeah. Those glassy eyes are tears because that hurts bad.
3, 2.
I need to do it. I need to. The funny thing about pain is it's accompanied by endorphins. And every time, no matter how something hurts, I just end up getting into a giggling fit. I don't know why I find it. I just need to move. I need to move my body. That's why I'm watching this.
He's a big guy.
Surgery day. Yay. He's ready.
I didn't even know Butterbean was doing DDP yoga. Look at him, man. He's starting to burn away.
136.3.
You guys will never guess what his weight was.
What?
Let me make sure I got it right. This is in kilograms.
Okay, how much is
Times 2.2.
Are you serious?
He's only been 299 one time, and they didn't announce him at 299. They said he was 301, but he was actually 299.
Wow.
Oh, that's damn.
Oh no, buddy.
Awesome. Have a good sleep. Love you.
See you when you get out.
I guess he's gotten down to where he can get that surgery. That's why he's in a. Man. Yeah, man.
He started, when he first came in the house, to where he is today. It's pretty mind-blowing.
You guys have seen me like that when I couldn't stream because my hip hurt so bad. My hip was so flared up. I couldn't even walk to go to the bathroom.
For me, being stuck in a wheelchair, I might as well live there.
Yep, that's right.
So, this kind of represents my change. When I was here, I felt I only had a couple years.
Man.
I was looking out the window like old folks in the nursing home that just wanted to be.
Anyway,
Today, I believe I can accomplish.
Trying to spend less time scrolling stupid videos, wasting away looking at suggested brain hijacking bullshit, and just get on with my life, man. Get work done, get exercise done, eat good, just do stuff that matters.
It changed my life. Honestly, I thought I had a couple years left to live.
When you can't make it the bathroom, yeah, it could be a problem. That could be a problem.
You believe in something and set your mind to a goal, and then you have the discipline to see it through. It is and has been the most rewarding experience that I've had in my career.
Oh my gosh.
You like seeing good things happen to that kind of person.
The main thing you don't bring that is you've got inside his head and you've made him believe in himself again. And that's, when you get this right, this is the easy stuff. But getting the head right is the hard bit. And his head's there.
That's what I need to be doing. That's how I need to be feeling. I could easily do that. I could easily do it. I just got to bite it. Bite the freaking through the pain. Make it happen.
Butterbean's back on one more fight.
Pretty freaking cool, man. Pretty cool. I don't know what else is going on.
Before the mid-1990s, many people believed that martial arts made a fighter tough and dangerous, while wrestling did not evoke the same respect. However,
I guess I had started
1994,
this.
a new fighter emerged who shattered these preconceptions. His name was...
And of course they employ former FBI agents.
I'm going to go back to the beginning.
Sex criminal. A bad man. A sex criminal. Now, none of the outlets ran the names of the accusers.
Turn it up a little bit because I'm scratching and
conspicuously absent. But the judgment was overwhelming.
yeah, man, just hanging out, trying to get some work done. Enjoy having you guys chiming in. It's really good to see everybody.
In fact, it was the final scene in a long movie.
I need to watch that Butterbean thing another 2 or 3 times, dude. I need to get.
This was an attempt
need to stay pumped, man.
Russell Brand has views that diverge from those of most Western governments on big issues, not small things, big issues, such as economic policy, war and peace. And they decided we have to make this man be quiet. Why Russell Brand?
There we
because
go.
in contrast to a lot of us who
Guys are awesome.
Russell Brand had the capacity to win people over from the other side. He hadn't spent a life identified with the far right, just the opposite. Russell Brand was a man of the left, and to most people, a cultural figure. Everyone knows who Russell Brand is. And so he had the power, the capacity to persuade. And that was the threat. So we thought it'd be interesting to go through in some detail what happened to Russell Brand. None of this has ever been aired before.
The boobs.
The censorship campaign against him began with governments, not private organizations, but governments that are in touch with their policy makers. And as we said, it played out outside public view. And we thought it would be very interesting and important for people to know what exactly happened. And so to find out, we are now joined by Russell Brand himself, and we're grateful. Russell Brand, thank you so much.
Yeah, you start telling them Big Brother, and they.
So
they won't,
I didn't know any.
They want you canceled.
Any of this, and I experienced you because I didn't know you as a viewer, and I remember thinking, boy, that is one of the most articulate critiques of the brand new war in Ukraine I had ever seen. I saw one of your videos on the war in Ukraine, and this was in the winter of 2022, 2 years ago, and you were making kind of a remarkable case, not against the Ukrainian people and certainly not in favor of Russia, but that there might be real implications for the West if we get involved in a war that is not our own. And you, I thought, said it so well. What I missed, and I'm now seeing, is that in March of 2022, you were denounced by an organization connected directly to the U.S. government as an agent of Chinese propaganda for your views on Ukraine. So let me just ask you.
They flopped too much. They
did you know that you were being
look like two flapjacks.
for your views on Ukraine?
Yeah, that's definitely based on a real video. It's got a little bit, a little too much accurate jiggle physics.
A strong affinity with China. I've been to China. To understand China. Certainly don't advocate for.
This is the guy.
I've just got a relatively
went and sucked to Putin. Yes, exactly.
Geopolitical matters in the South Asian seas. It's not something that I would like tie my colours to the mast for, or be willing to be publicly shamed.
Kind of shit on it, yeah.
Jailed for.
After the fact, I can't take consequences.
Yeah.
I mean,
that we,
I understand totally.
But these, in my reading of it, is not, we haven't, by the way, talked about this off air, but my reading of it is that these were the early seeds of a very deceptive plant that flowered more than a year later in September when you were accused of these crimes and demonetized and censored as a result of that. But looking back, so you were accused by a group called Coda Story. It published a story on its anti-disinformation newsletter. Now, Coda Story is connected to the UK government, but it's also connected to the CIA. How does it make you feel to know that you were in the crosshairs of the most powerful governments in the world and their intelligence?
It seems
Big Brother's agencies.
grandiose to even imagine that I would stir and arouse the interest of such powerful agencies and groups that the British government, if indirectly, would spend considerable sums on observing and de-amplifying content that true information shared through our platforms in the period of the pandemic was censored, was cited as high risk, that companies like Moderna had spent considerable revenue tracking our content and again de-amplifying it, that Dame Caroline Dinenage, whose husband is a PSYOPs expert that worked abroad in terrorism before deploying those methods and techniques and to some degree those teams to observe what they called disinformation and misinformation in the UK. I recognise that the new emergent media spaces present a lot of possibilities, even with your kind compliments about our reporting on the Ukraine. All we've essentially done is listen to brilliant academics talking about the history of NATO and the coup in 2014.
Disinformation slash
Putin's
informative
explicit declaration that he would prefer,
basically information
mildly, that Ukraine were not invited
accurate
into NATO, that
you could
some of the
put anything on the other side of disinformation.
This is information that because of independent
helpful
media is available, and perhaps the function that we our media
unfortunate truth
fulfilled is being to collate that information and convey it directly.
But yeah, there's definitely some misinformation out there too. There's people
perspective than to the
about whatever's on their mind,
but opinion, which amounts to, I've learned over the last few years, the amplification and normalization of the agenda of the powerful. That no opinions can be allowed into that space, and I'm astonished by how jealously it is guarded. There are points in my life when my personal self-regard would have loved the idea that I would be considered important enough to attack on this scale, to spend this amount of revenue and resources on. But I'm now seeing that independent media itself is an extraordinary threat, that independent media inevitably leads to independent politics and independent thought, and we appear to be at some precipitous moment of radical transition. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if anybody could be sure of where this is all heading, what the exact teleology is, but it seems to be to do with mass centralisation, globalisation, significant attempts to control the information space that are so rigorously adhered to and protected that even what you might imagine to be a marginal voice is considered a significant enough threat to warrant coordinated media attacks, expenditure on peculiar, clandestine, non-government organisations, to take their money from the military industrial
try to keep you. Oh man, definitely
media,
good.
who,
Thank
by
you.
the way, when they're critiquing independent media, they've got skin in the game. They're not able to independently assess your work or my work or the medical opinions of Joe Rogan. They have a vested interest in destroying those organisations. In the last few years, I've learned about the Trusted News Initiative, which has extraordinary connections again to Big Pharma and sets of interest around the reporting on war that have decided and determined that they are no longer competing with one another. You in particular come from a journalistic background where it would have been commonplace for the great institutions of American media to compete with one another for scoops, the New York Times versus the world. Those days are gone. It explicitly states on the Trusted News Initiative website, we are no longer in competition with one another. We have to curtail and stamp out, I think it even uses the word choke, independent media. And it's clear that there are now sets of globalist organisations funded by government, but also corporations, that are making deliberate, profound attempts to shut down any dissent in an astonishingly aggressive way. And to be sort of caught up in it is terrifying on one level, absolutely terrifying, particularly due to the nature of allegations I face, but also revealing. More importantly, it's revealing about the way that I believe the world, and in particular this space, will be affected, and the way these events will continue to unfold in the coming years.
What I love about your critique is that you're coming to all of this pretty cold, since you had a midlife career change. You're doing something very different from what you did 15 years ago. And I'm wondering if your assumptions haven't been completely blown up. You're a British citizen, lived in the country your life. How strange is it that your tax dollars are being used against you by your government, which they are?
That's the thing that kills me. It's like
is it to find
all your taxes being used for
contest of ideas that we were promised here in the West, made the best
for one to more efficiently kill you.
Yes,
to charge you.
Well, I suppose
take your money to charge you more money effectively. It's just like this is really not cool, man.
Trajectory that propels a lot of people into those spaces, believing that there might be
charge you more to kill you faster.
Excitement, and when I was a denizen of that world, I was
keep you afraid and unhappy and
celebrated and
controllable, and it's just like not very nice at all.
Which I think is kind of common for
not
people
nice,
in
man.
that area, for single people. In my case,
going to
drug and alcohol free.
Oh yeah,
certainly with an appetite for a promiscuous lifestyle. When I was part of it, I found it
Yeah, for kids sleepover. Yeah, that's going to definitely take over the house for sure.
When I departed it, as a result
Yeah,
of
man.
various
Pop in every now and then,
crises or
see how things are going.
failures or combination of those events, I really felt like a coming home to the type of values that I grew up with. I grew up in a normal blue-collar town, Grays, kind of like a place that's like New Jersey, I guess. A kind of suburban, outside of the city, normal people, good values kind of place. And what I feel like happened is like, since I've had a family, since I've got a young son, I've got a couple of daughters, I feel like that I was able to deploy the skills learned through working in entertainment as a man in recovery in a new space. And what simply began with myself and my partners is tell the truth about things you care about. Kind of over time, it began to, I suppose Glenn Greenwald the other day, he goes, you shouldn't be surprised that if you attack the most powerful interests in the world, the deep state, powerful corporations, the machinery of war, that you yourself are the recipient of attacks. Why is that surprising to you? I know, but because sometimes it does feel speculative, doesn't it? You're talking about these really powerful organisations and the way that it's funded and the way that it crosses over and their malfeasant, underhanded, insidious activity. And then as it starts to become more popular, as more and more people realise that it's actually true,
they don't want that stuff talked about.
Become willing to take back control in their own lives. As more and more people
stay asleep.
refuse to consent to being treated in sort of infantile way, having their autonomy and personal and mental and spiritual freedom undermined, their connection to their land undermined, their connection to nature devoided. You start to realise that you're actually operating in quite a powerful territory.
I need to go.
But world power is very serious, and it has to work very hard to maintain its grip. So these organisations,
where are you, Mouse?
It's surprising to find that the British government, through the Department of Culture and Media and Sport,
this down for a second.
The very people that sponsored the new online safety bill personally contacted the height of these allegations and attacks on me, that contacted social media platforms.
Yeah, we are. It does have the live going.
But they're the body that regulates them. They have the ability to find those organisations. They're the very person who is sponsoring the.
I really need to get
I understand what you're saying. These accusations appeared.
Chat going on there. Well, that's fast.
Of committing crimes. And then your
nobody in the chat.
You pay for.
I might bounce back and
reached
forth
out without telling you to online
just check it every now
providers and media organizations and said, please kick him off.
What did it put for the? Yes, it's got the same.
Before any kind of trial. Before
filing threats, hangout.
Or guilty before any names were attached.
Same thing.
That happened.
Yeah, and it's the same people that are sponsoring online safety bills, which amount to facilitating further censorship.
Cool.
By your own government.
Well, it's astonishing if you regard your government to be in a position of service rather than a position of domination and control. But what's become apparent in recent years is what the nature of our relationship with government is, that they are there to rule and control and dominate. And whilst they may now do it with an aesthetic of care and with the language of inclusivity, I believe the threat of authoritarianism is far, far greater from those that use the language of liberalism than these emergent, somewhat nationalistically oriented populist movements present. Because
they've tried being nice and just
they're interested in
squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. It's going to come to the point where they're just going to.
They're introducing censorship laws.
Try to institute, of course, digital currency and martial law. Okay, they want control. That's just kind of how it works.
If you try to oppose even what I consider to be a relatively marginal scale, then there
because the government is not we have no say in the government anymore. It's not for the people anymore. It is for the investors. It is for the corporate interests.
A lot of people weren't interested in politics and was pretty famous and had some means, etc.
They paid for their outcomes and they want return on their investment.
These forces. So with that, if you don't mind, can we get
that's understandable. I don't blame them. But
the first is Moderna.
We're the one that suffers for it.
Tell us how you intersected with pharma and with Moderna and what you think they did to you.
During the pandemic period, we reported continually about
Unfortunately, it's exactly what's
some
happening.
of the
It's not a maybe. It's what's
trials
happening.
that Moderna conducted and whether or not they ought be deemed sufficiently rigorous to warrant the level of measures that were
But
being
give a damn
implemented,
who
if not
you
entirely
vote for.
mandated.
It's all
We
bullshit
talked
and it's
about
owned
a
by
government official called Jonathan Van Tam, who was the public
Shadow Corps,
face
man. It's
of
just
the
like
government, saying, you know, we should be taking vaccines, recommending
Nothing's
that
4
the
years.
measures escalate. Jonathan Van Tam subsequently took a position at
just
Moderna.
a
We reported on that. People within the
government
FDA
version
took
of
positions
the
at
Matrix.
Moderna.
Here, we're
We
just
reported on
batteries.
that.
We're
We
just
accurately reported that both Pfizer and Moderna were making
We're just a-
$1,000 like a second or a minute, just like we reported a
we're just
lot.
little money. We're
we
just
reported
revenue is all we are.
accurately and thoroughly about the degree
Livestock
to
is
which
all we're viewed
Big
as.
Pharma were profiting from a
Make money.
situation in which Albert
Buy
Bourla
products.
explicitly said it would be inhumane to profit from this
Get sick.
global crisis.
Die.
This meant that we were tracked by agencies employed by Moderna. They had like us on a high-risk category. This is the reporting of Lee Fang on his Substack. Not just me, Jay Bhattacharya, Michael Schellenberger, Alex Berenson, a number of what you might call anti-pandemic measures voices or strong critics of the way that the pandemic unfolded were under observation by agencies that were either funded by Big Pharma, sometimes the government. And in a sense, what I'm starting to realise, Tucker, is this cartilage between the state and the corporate world is often provided by these unusual organisations that are claiming to be observing disinformation or monitoring, but they're actually crushing dissent. That's what they're doing in practice. Dissenting voices are being aggressively crushed by almost any means necessary. That media organisations are collaborated in a way that is unprecedented in order to shut down dissenting voices. And it appears to me that this is part of something, I don't know that we've seen anything like this before.
So what you're saying is that these organizations which purport to be independent are not actually independent from government. They merely give government, the politicians and the intel agencies especially some
not independent at all.
Distance.
Yes.
What they're doing. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, Tucker, that seems to be
They're owned. They're owned by the big bank on top of all the other banks.
And what they do
That's
is
all it is.
observe
That's who owns it all.
around, in particular, COVID and pandemic measures. But they are now working in the United States, apparently in order to regard misinformation around election campaigning. It seems that this group receive government money in order to control online spaces.
So if you're worried about the security of electronic voting machines or absentee ballots,
yes,
you are denounced by these people and
yes,
censored by them.
That's precisely how it works. And of course they employ former FBI agents, CIA agents. In a way, I suppose, what happened during the pandemic period, because of like the Twitter files, for example, we started to learn the degree to which the deep state were involved in social media companies, the degree to which they were censoring and shutting down information.
Really
information that we
very
now know
fun
to be
about
true.
this, so
You know, of course, you'll be aware that Mark Zuckerberg said we
it's not
censor
encouraging
information. The
my
category, in
peeps.
fact, of malinformation is information that's
We
true.
kind of know
but-
stuff, and
but
we
harmful
choose
the agenda
to.
of the powerful. But it seems
We
like
choose
like
to
logically and the public good.
not really
project
think about it because
are
it's
specifically
it's a pain in the it's just
empowered to control,
pain in the butt to think
censor,
about
de-amplify information that is harmful to that.
where we've ended up.
This seems.
Although it is up to us to all work together at some point
control
to
what people are allowed to think.
stop supporting it.
I think that's the definition of it.
What I've started to, I suppose
That's just it's going to get rough. Is the problem with that?
Essence, what I've started to
All right, based on the
report on consistently, as you noted
things
at the
there.
beginning of this, I'm not someone who's
Let's see, what could we go to?
affiliated organically with conservatism or what you might regard as right-wing politics, although I of course recognise the legitimacy
we
of
could
a
listen
whole
to
variety of
Elon
political
talking
views
with
and the right of people to hold different
Kennedy
views of one
Jr.
another. But
It has no video though. It's literally
now
just a
is being deliberately veiled
thing with
in a
lights showing who's
serious
talking.
language of care, concern, safety and convenience. It seems to me that we're in a
Let me go
time
over
where we
here.
lurch from one crisis to another, that the crisis is always used to legitimise certain solutions, and a docile or terrified
Let's check out
public
subscriptions. Let's see what we got going on. Somebody's doing Juggernaut's doing a test stream, which is cool. We should go say hi to that.
That's definitely more. That is 2 cents. That is 2 cents. Oh wait, but that's because I was. I was listening to my own game audio. That's not gonna help me.
Let's send him some hearts.
Yo, Big Chance Packs, what's up, my guy? Hope you're having a good stream. I'm testing streams. I haven't been on stream in almost 3 months, so I'm sorry. I haven't been around for a while, but it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well.
We all wanted to say hi.
I guess the volume after stream's over. Okay. How do I do commands on YouTube? Does it have commands? How do I do commands on YouTube, chat? Like that?
Goodness, I don't even know about the chat, the dashboard and commands and stuff.
Oh, I appreciate it, my guy. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It's super sweet of you. I haven't seen you guys in ages. I know. I've been busy with life, with college, with
anyway. It's good to see Jug.
The vacation. I've been gone. I have been, and I appreciate you popping on in to say hello. I really do. How do I get this set up correctly? So.
Go Jug.
Hey.
All right, let's go back. We got Jug is streaming. Oh, did you guys see Orbiter did like a Orbiter Greg in San Francisco did a pickup demonstration, Malibu bridge pickup. Can't remember if that's his hot pickup, but I guess it is. This is not typically Greg's tone. He plays more of like a big muff tone. Greg's awesome though. I put Go Go Gadget Greg. That's awesome. Distortion-esque. Orbiter Greg, yeah. Doing it up, you guys. Let's see. Harry Potter Theory put out a video. What else do we got going on here? Guitar Repair Telecaster. That's an upcoming video. Let's see if we got something interesting that kind of goes for a while that we can just sort of hang out and listen to. Russell Brand talking to Tony Robbins, sorry. Tony Robbins. Man, Thorpe effects. Man, that guy makes some of the best effects. Let's click it and see.
Population was the depogging. I've always loved chorus, like C1, C2.
Yeah.
Text versions. I always want to do my own thing, and you can be inspired.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what it's like at the pharmacy.
But we wanted to make that pedal the best it could be, the best version of a chorus that you could get. I think we achieved it. It's so organic in its sound. It's very rich. It feels like a full meal.
I think that's
chorus.
his. Oh yeah,
not in a cheesy 80s
analog, really high quality analog chorus.
To blend it out so you can set it up so severe depth, severe speed, and it's moving your sound.
But not demonstration, just talking about it, which is good. Those are good things. Talking about a really good chorus is a good thing. Oh, that's right. I forgot I didn't do anything with it. Sorry. Didn't do nothing with it. What else is going on? If you're a musician in 24 hours, you want to hear this. Let's hear what Rick's telling us about music in 2024.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting video, I think. There's a company that reached out to me a few months ago. It's called Chart Cipher. And what they do is they use AI.
It's good to file frets.
They compile trends based on
we'll get updates on things.
Trends over years and years. But you can see kind of what is happening in music now. And these are some really interesting things because they talk about topics of songs, how many words are in the titles, things like that, nerdy things that I really think are interesting. So one of the first things in here is the primary genre trend chart. You'll notice that it says that hip hop at 27% and pop at 27% are the two top genres right now. The next is country at 20%, then rock 19%, R&B is at 9%, Latin is at 6%, and then at the bottom here is dance or electronic music. If you go to the next chart, this is where it gets interesting, because then you look at essentially 2019 to 2023, so the last 4 years what the trends are. And you'll notice that this top thing here is hip-hop music, which has actually gone down a lot on the charts. It's gone from 53% dominance, then 58% in 2020, but now it's way down to 27%. So hip-hop is going down in the way it's represented on the charts. People are less interested in hip-hop music. I would say that pop music has stayed relatively the same, 30%, 22 or 23, and then it's back at 27. So, fluctuating between 30%
vertical man.
23%, let's say. 27 last year. And then the things that are on the rise are really country and rock seem to be on the rise. It says right here, since 2022 to 2023, country has moved from 8% up to 20% of its representation on the Billboard charts. That's a 150% increase. That's massive. I've noticed this when I do the top 10 Spotify countdowns, that there's a lot of country songs on the charts now that never were before, right? Rock has moved up from 12% to 19%. That's a 58% increase, which is cool. And like I said, hip-hop is down 37%, as you can see here. I think people are getting tired of hip-hop. I noticed that the trap beats, that drum sound that you used to hear constantly.
There isn't any imagination in it anymore. I mean,
these top 10 countdowns a few years ago.
Every now and then there'll be something
really
pretty cool
come out.
Disappeared.
I think people are just bored with it. And then if that's going to come down, something's going to replace it. And it seems to be rock and country are moving up. Okay, the next chart that I think is interesting here is instrument prevalence trends. So it says here, almost all streaming hits contain primarily drums and bass. Of course, we know that. The prevalent use of guitar surged to the highest level in over a decade. This is due in part to both the rise in country and rock, as we just said in the last segment. Conversely, the use of piano has been on the decline. Okay, pretty interesting. If you look at the chart, you'll see this instrument prevalence here, with the bass is in this mauve color, whatever this is, kind of purplish. Then the drums are in yellow, guitar is in red, and piano at 16% is in green. Okay, so to put it more succinctly, the use of the guitar on songs that are on the Billboard charts from 2022 to 2023 has gone up 56%, and the use of the piano has gone down 41%. Now, I guess people are not taking piano lessons. Actually, that's kind of a joke because the piano's all MIDI anyways. Okay, the next chart that I think is really interesting is this tempo trends. In the last 4 years, or from 2019 to 2023, songs are getting slower. There's been an increase of songs that are slower than 79 BPM by 23%.
Nice.
And songs that are between 100 and 119 BPM have decreased
not that
by
much
24%.
Delay on.
So when I think about
that's my
the charts
dashboard.
that we've listened to,
I don't know how long. I don't know how long the delay is on
like songs have gotten slower. They're at least all mid-tempo
it should
songs.
be pretty much.
The only song that
pretty
pops
close to
into my head
what's
is that
going on
Olivia
the
Rodrigo song.
channel.
Bad Idea. That song is the only one I can think of that was in the top 10 recently. That's kind of an up-tempo rock song. The next thing I find
getting farther and farther over
are
here.
these song length trends. Now, there's a really interesting article in the Washington Post about a week and a half ago about how songs are getting shorter and shorter. And they actually showed from the 1960s when songs were routinely under 3 minutes. And then that peaked in the 1990s, early 90s, really,
heavy.
at
Got tuners
over 4 minutes,
a bridge,
and now they're back.
And the capo holding it in place.
Most of the songs
all the way to this end. So
it's really interesting because was driving my daughter
balance right
Layla
at
to
the. I
school.
wonder where the balance point is on it.
She said to me, "Can you play some new songs?" So I start playing new songs. We were listening to that song "Greedy" by Taylor.
Yeah, the balance point right now is right at the
and then the next
third
song
fret
was
dot
2
marker,
minutes and 15
and then
seconds.
kind of in between the second and third
18 seconds, she
fret.
said,
Because
"Is every
that
song
bridge is
under
on
3
there, the
minutes?" I said,
tuners
"Yeah."
and the capo holding
And so I
it.
said, all the Beatles' early songs are under 3 minutes too. So I start playing the Red album, the 62 to 66 album, and really all those songs are under 3 minutes. Love Me Do, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Please Please Me, 201. From Me to You, 157. She Loves You, 222. I Want to Hold Your Hand, 226. All My Lovin', 209. Can't Buy Me Love, 213. Ticket to Ride, 311. Amazing, right? Even songs like Nowhere Man, 244, Michelle, 242, In My Life, 227, Girl, 231, Payback Rider, 219. These are short songs. The difference between those short songs and the short songs today, though, I like that Greedy song, Tate McRae, but there's nothing to it. It's a verse and a chorus, and then a verse and a chorus, and then some type of bridge. It's not even a bridge. I don't even know what it is. Like a breakdown verse, and one chorus, and then just does this kind of nothing out chorus. It doesn't even do a double chorus at the end. Whereas the Beatles had multiple bridges in these songs. They had intros, they had solos, they had everything, and they fit all this stuff in these amazing songs that you can listen to for the next 60 years or so. So after looking at the Beatles songs, I said, "Layla, how long do you think Smells Like Teen Spirit is?" She says, "I have no idea." So we looked it up. It's 5 minutes and 1 second long.
It's a huge difference
I
in
started
time.
comparing other songs from that era. Jeremy, 518. Black Hole Sun, 518 also. Wow. Man in the Box, 445. Tonight by
I never
Smashing
really
Pumpkins,
thought about
414.
how
Plush by SDP
different
is
song lengths were from.
513. These are long songs, twice as long as songs are today. So why were songs so long back then? First of all, they were way better written songs.
Less
and
about
second
commercial.
of all, there was no internet to zap
And there
people's
wasn't-
attention.
there wasn't
no social
distractions.
media, no
Not like
video
today.
games, no anything to take people's attention away and make them want to swipe. No TikTok, no YouTube Shorts, no Instagram. People actually could sit there and just listen to music. The next chart I find really interesting because I've noticed this when I look at the charts. The songs have less profanity in them. 61% of songs on the Billboard
good stuff to
charts
think
in
about.
2023 have no
Especially if you're trying to
profanity
make,
in them. 32%
I don't
have
know,
some,
music that's
and only
relevant,
7% have
relevant to
So a really interesting
number
trend
of
is
different
that
types of
songs
people.
that use no
Hey, you see what?
profanity are the same level that
If
they
we
were in
didn't
20.
structure my songs the way I do, a lot
what
of
that
my
means.
songs would be,
You guys can make your
3.5, 4
own conclusions
minutes,
to that. I'm not sure why that is.
But cutting the verses and chorus,
and some of the other
helps
things. I'm excited
shorten
today.
things.
I
That
would
way it doesn't
love
get
to
too
know your thoughts on
redundant.
this. If you think this is an
I
interesting
mean, being
topic
instrumental
to go
songs,
into,
they
'cause I
could
love this
have all
kind
kinds
of
of
stuff. I'm
winding
always
paths
thinking
through
about
them.
These things like why is popular music changing?
Well balanced
Is
the
it
way they are.
changing for the better? Is it changing for the worse?
There's always room to
I
make
think
another song
this
of,
last
of other stuff.
Top
So
10 countdown that I did,
That way you can
it's gotten a little bit better.
stay in
People
that
using more
vibe.
real instruments, less profanity, much more diversity.
Go to another vibe.
In tempos and grooves, things like that. Still not really any fast songs. Love to know your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.
I wonder what will come on after this. Usher at the halftime
Okay,
show.
so how many
I haven't
of you
seen this
watched
one yet,
the
so I'm
Super Bowl
about
last
half
night,
curious.
including the halftime show? I was sitting there with Nina and the kids, and I was telling Dylan that I watched the first Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers in 1967. He couldn't believe that because he can't imagine that I was alive in the 1960s. And it was so long ago. But the halftime show I thought was particularly good. Now, I haven't asked any of my friends, I haven't talked to any of them about what they thought of it. But I thought that Usher was excellent. First of all, a lot of the halftime shows, most of the stuff is taped. And one of my dear friends does a lot of the sound for these things. I know that, and he's done it for years. It's taped for a particular reason because you cannot have the audio go out or have any glitches at all. So that doesn't mean anything, that people lip syncing. Although, it seemed like Usher was actually singing. I mean, I really think he was singing some of the stuff. And his mic looked really weird, right? It came way over, kind of not really pointing towards
That
him.
style of music
What was
you can definitely
incredible
mix in
is
live.
the dancing, the roller skates and everything about it with a marching band. What is it, Sonic Boom of the South? Amazing. It's really, really exciting. So, Usher, Little John, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris. What do they all have in common? They're all from Atlanta. What else do they have in common? They're all 90s artists, really. Now, you had some other artists that were younger. Her, who did a guitar solo on one of the songs. And yes, it was mimed, but a lot of the stuff at the Super Bowl is mimed. But she's fantastic. I've made a video about her. Alicia Keys, who came out in the early 2000s. I think 2001, her first record came out. And then, of course, Will.i.am with Black Eyed Peas, 1998. So a lot of 90s artists.
Can I have some
Usher
side scratches
had
to
not released
clean
a
up?
record since 2016 before the record dropped a couple days ago on February 9th. So why did they have Usher play the Super Bowl? I think this really speaks to the fact that very few people can pull off a Super Bowl halftime performance. Number one, because they don't have the career. They don't have all the hit songs to draw from. I went back and I looked at past artists that have performed over, let's say, the last 10 years. So last year was Rihanna. I don't know if I made a video about that. Year before,
Don't have
Eminem,
water
Dr.
here.
Dre,
I
Snoop
need to
Dogg, Kendrick
have
Lamar,
water.
Mary J. Blige. You know, other than Kendrick Lamar, these are all artists from the 90s. 2021, The Weeknd, contemporary artist at the time, right? His first record, I think, came out in 2016, but that was contemporary. That was very unusual. 2020, Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, Bad Bunny. Okay, you had a mix of contemporary artists and old school artists. Before that, Travis Scott, Big Boy. So once again, a kind of heritage artist, Maroon 5, and then contemporary artists.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, 2017, Lady Gaga, 2016, Coldplay, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, 2015, Katy Perry, Lenny Kravitz, Missy Elliott, and so on and so forth. And then back in 2013 was Beyonce. Why is that? Why do they need to reach back so far? Well, one of the reasons, like I said, is that these people have had hits over multiple decades. Another thing is, you notice the lack of rock bands. Yes, Coldplay.
I wonder if I can make the
Coldplay has a lot of dance music.
font larger in my
EDM
kick
music,
dashboard.
music with dance beats. Dancing
Where's my
is
gear
a huge
at?
part of these halftime shows. It's part of the performance. But the other thing is that there are very few artists
Pop out
now that
chat.
are worldwide
No,
sensations.
don't need that.
And that goes back to the
Doesn't really have a
decentralization
gear
of
down.
culture
Yeah, there is.
because of algorithms. People
Let's
are
see.
so silo-based
Identity.
now because of algorithms
I
feeding
think it's
you
an
music that
appearance
you
or
like.
something.
If you like this, you're going to like this because it's just about exactly like that. When I do
Pop
these
out
top
chat,
10
man.
countdowns, most of the people watching this,
Maybe it's an
unless they're young,
identity.
they don't know most of the artists unless they are artists that have had hits like
Change the
Taylor
color,
Swift,
but I
for
can't see
example.
anything about the
Algorithms
font
not only keep
size.
people siloed in very specific genres, but they also prevent people from becoming worldwide stars. Not everyone, but a lot of them. So bear with me for a second. If you go back to the 90s, pre-internet, when a record would come out, you'd have a single that would precede the record by about 3 months or so. You would also have press that would precede the
Click it
release of
again one more time. Watch out,
sometimes
Benji's
more.
blue.
And why would you need that lead time? Because the music industry is monolithic. They needed a lead time with all these magazines, with all these TV shows, MTV, all this stuff, to make sure that everything would hit at the same time. Because these were worldwide releases. These worldwide artists, they really don't exist like they did. These worldwide superstars like Beyonce. You saw Beyonce even in the commercials, right? So these music stars were worldwide stars, and I'm trying to think of who today is going to be that worldwide star 10 years from now. That's going to be the Super Bowl halftime star, or 20 years from now. Usher's been around since the 90s. He's 45 years old. All those people I read down the list are not young. I mean, people that had been around for 30 years nearly. It was funny when Ludacris came out, people really freaked out. It was really amazing. But these people have been around forever. That's why they freaked out, because so many of the people knew them. This is ancient history at this point. These are the premier people in Atlanta hip hop from the late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if the music industry will ever produce people because of things like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, things like that, because of the way the algorithms dictate people's tastes now. I think it's almost impossible to become a worldwide superstar. You could be a worldwide superstar. Billie Eilish is a worldwide superstar, but could Billie Eilish do the halftime show with her music? It's too mellow. I mean, yeah, she has some songs, unless she starts making some records that have some more rockin' kind of music with it. And as far as rock bands, other than Coldplay, yes, Metallica could do the halftime show, but what contemporary rock bands? Will there ever be a rock band that could ever do a halftime show again? No. I mean, the last band that the first thing that comes to the top of mind is The Who, when they're 70 years old doing the halftime show. This is really all expected, the decline of music in our culture. The decentralization of culture.
That'd be nuts, man.
Especially music, and how kids are not engaged with it in the same way that
gonna refresh my dashboard. Refresh
video games, before social media. A lot of people get at me, oh, Rick, you with video games and social media and stuff like that. Yeah. That's a thing. It is. And there aren't those worldwide superstars like there were. And the ones that you can name, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, I mean, these people have been around for decades at this point, because it takes decades. I made that video about the Spotify, the people that are in the top, top 50 of Spotify, I think I did, and how long they've been around. There are no new artists. There are no new TikTok artists, and now there's going to be even less with a universal strike, which took about 32% of the people off of TikTok. And if stuff like that keeps happening, where major labels remove their music from these social media platforms that are really the few places that are promoting contemporary music.
It's the only thing even keeping it alive or suggesting it.
Historic music.
There aren't classic
old
rock
music.
Radio stations really much
anymore. It's going to be even more difficult to become a worldwide celebrity.
There's some, but I mean,
celebrated in multiple cultures around the world. Love to know your thoughts on this.
It's crazy.
Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thanks for watching.
We can do that at least. Oh yeah. Tim Pierce.
Hey everybody, I'm Rick. You know that because you're on my channel. And this is Tim Pierce.
Hey everybody.
Who's been on my channel a million times. Tim.
Hey.
Welcome to your studio.
Welcome to my home. Glad to have you here.
I'm in Los Angeles here. I'm out here.
They're just being crazy.
Thing that I always do when I come here.
Let's see what else is going on. If we look at the same thing. Here, if I go back, let's take it off of full screen and go back. I'm gonna have to pull this down to get back to just the subscriptions page. See what's going on. What have people made here that we can check out? See if there's anything we need to know about. Need to know about it. We could listen to Ola talking about stuff. Fran Blanche. What else have I got going in my... That's where I clicked on, was the billboard. Billboard. I say we look at some bike stuff. It's time to look at get an update with S&M bikes and see what's happening. Having some good times. Having some good times. S&M bikes. Oh yeah. Making beautiful bicycles.
In the work.
Bicycle. Bicycle. I want to weld a bicycle. 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 red hot molten steel.
Also have
Nice.
more Booze Cruise 29s coming.
Oh man. Whew. True temper tubing and a
Stays here for him.
hand welded cruiser. Oh, so cool.
Steel Panthers.
Beautiful.
Pink Panther color.
Beautiful.
In stock now. Hit up your local dealer. We got the THC teachers getting rained out.
So good.
Got the rack full of them now. What do we got over here?
We got a new and improved Holy Diver. We did some changes to the existing Holy Diver.
A little bit more.
We're going to call this frame the THD, which we don't know what that totally means.
That is pretty good.
Harmonic distortion, total hot dude, total hot biscuits, totally high dude.
Totally high, dude.
Yours to come up with on your own, I guess. But so we took the basic Holy Diver geometry.
Holy Diver!
11.7 BB, 4.7 rear end. We raised the standover height to 9 1/4. It was 9 inches flat. And then the main thing is we got rid of the removable brake bosses. So this frame has no brake option at all. It's brakeless.
Wild and free.
Ruthless. We also stretched out the top tube and down tube just to kind of make the triangle a little bit larger. Just looks a little bit more proportionate to the rear end. And we also changed up the gussets as well. We have this open-end gusset and then a new, well, it's one we've used previously, but new for this frame. The S&M Bike strip gusset. So these are headed off to paint.
So well made, man.
Website or at your local dealer anytime soon.
All right.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but you try and make one of those, man. That strong and that light
To make sure all the angles, everything
and that
is there.
straight
This is second
pretty.
run. Bottom bracket.
Yeah, man. Not easy.
Wine me, dine me, 69 me. Stand
Wow.
everything's good to go. These are going to paint probably tomorrow. And they are available to order online now. Taking back orders or
Wow, man, that's a pretty slack head tubing. 69 on a cruiser.
let them while the getting's good.
A little bit of a bigger front triangle going on over here. Booze Cruises. Getting put
I mean,
together.
it's typical for like stuff with a shock and stuff like that, but that's maybe it's so you can run a shock if you want to. I don't know. I didn't see what style of big bike that was.
Stepping outside the warehouse.
Fit bike.
Got a bunch of bikes going out all over the country. Got a good stack going to Mexico. Over here, shout out to Thomas at All Ride. Big
Oh,
shipment going to
yeah.
Germany. All these heading out to Germany.
So, Dad, what you doing with that box there?
What you doing with that box here? That's awesome. It's P-Wall. Good to see you.
I think
Just-
everybody has an idea.
Filing frets and watching random stuff. This kid's got a cute voice. What are you doing, yo? That's awesome.
S&M Stealth Pivotal.
Stealth Pivotal.
Nice.
Nice.
Got some Dugan
Phantom 80cc. I have not. Sounds awesome.
fit bikes on the other side. Volker posters.
Sounds like a good time for people that fit on it. I
Oh,
don't,
now you're gonna have to clean
don't
this
fit
up
on that damn
because
thing.
Mom just got her house cleaned today, right?
That's a Stealth Pivotal Long Johnson S&MC post.
Yellow pitchfork.
One's yellow. S&M
Yellow for the Mustard Network. You know that's right. Mustard bike. It's a mustard bike.
Your new yellow bike?
Yes. Here's the frame. Expertly packaged by
sketch.
So, Keanu, what do you think about this bike? Do you think that okay? Chief, what do you think about this new bike? Do you like the packaging that you made for the bike?
You ready? Out of the bag.
It's got a disc brake mount on it. I wonder if it's 22-inch wheels. Probably 22-inch wheels.
Orange yellow. S&M Mad Dog frame.
Man, no.
Hydraulic brake guide. Disc brake mount. See that little plate on the seat tube? Looks like my old Robinson frames or Bassett frames even.
Yeah.
This one's got a plate. Look at that 5-inch head tube. Look at the engraving on that head tube there. Can you see that?
Yeah, but I don't think the camera can.
You can't see that on the camera? S&M logo on the head tube?
Yeah, you can now.
What do you think?
Freaking sweet.
It's good.
Freaking sweet.
Yeah, you probably need a fork. Yeah, but what I can see in the picture is Steve's butt.
No frame stickers yet. Those are still in the works.
Hey, son or probably grandson. Grandson's voice is cutest thing I've ever heard, man.
There's Jerry.
What about Crazy Sharon?
Shows some big shield stickers.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's a seat post clamp. Quick release seat post clamp. Right, we got the stealth. Seat post.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Thingy? My baba?
Seat post clamp. Otherwise known as
Going wild with that camera.
Yes, the thing with that.
Wild camera action. Seat post
There's
clamp.
going to be a black one, gloss black, Challenger red, Holmes yellow, chrome, and a OG Mad Dog green.
He's the owner and originator of S&M bikes, so you gotta have the S&M bikes history in there, man. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
This one's a little smaller. It's got Cole Walker up here.
I'll deal with these side scratches in a little while. Keep on moving on. Keep moving on. Keep on moving on.
Yeah. See this camera you wanna get out of the box?
Nah, this is my box now.
You just gonna stay in there?
Yeah, mine.
Okay.
Cutest kid I've ever seen. Oh my
Jerry,
god.
Sign out. You have to say, this is Jerry.
Jerry. Building the bike. Time lapse building the bike. Bicycle. Man, look at that. Ooh, that small disc on that disc. Oh, that's so weird. Oh man, that's rad, dude. Freaking rad. I'd say we just keep watching whatever they suggest of these. This is a good time, man. Bike Factory awesomeness. Bike Factory awesomeness. Doing it up.
Got some more raw ramblers lined up, along with some Butter Sky High.
Welding the frames, welding the bars.
A rack full of gloss clear ramblers. Looks like black 14mm dropout CCRs.
Oh yeah.
And trans brown ramblers.
Affiliated independent bike companies that get them to make their stuff. Because they got it down. They got it down. BMX frame manufacturing down pat. Made in USA. Chow 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 chow.
Got a small.
Yeah, he must have traveled. He must have traveled to the powder coat thing, because they don't do that at S&M. They do that at a plant. Yeah, they're going taking it in to bake it. It's hard to move a whole rack of stuff like that smoothly.
In a couple minutes, they'll take them out and they'll be ready to go. So the oven is set at 400 degrees. And they'll
be in there for 35 minutes for a full bake.
Pretty sweet. That is, I bet it's really hot getting anywhere near that. Oh man, you can just see how glazed and melted in it is after they take it out. You don't want to grab onto one of those right now. It's hot. Freaking cool.
Red Ramblers coming at you.
All right, Murph, what do we got going on here?
Looks like we got a truckload of Nathan Ramblers showing up. Ball's unloading right now.
Tell me about these colors. I see some
wrapped up
new ones up there.
Got a couple new ones. We got Lost
pretty bicycles.
Randall Red.
Bicycle. Bicycle. One more to crown and I will be done with the crowning. I'll need to smooth out the scratches on the side of these.
So Crandall's got his own signature colorway of the Rambler frame.
The Rambler.
The Crayon Apple.
The Crayon Apple.
The Crayon Apple.
Didn't think we'd do it.
Who, Crandall did it?
Oh, Mike, didn't think we'd never do it.
Well, we did it.
Steve Crandall used to run FBM bikes, and he has a S&M frame now. So he got out of the BMX frame game.
Is that what we're calling it?
But
An apple?
all the old schoolers are friends, unless they're just the jerks are jerks and they do their own thing. But
all right, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Murph.
most all the old school guys are cool.
Didn't happen in 2020, so can't name it after a cheap, sugary booze. But it is an election year, so at least we're getting it done. We're making American bikes again. Traditional S-bend chainstays, bullet tips, disc mount, a little bit longer dropout than most, just for a little more adjustability. On the original Mad Dog frame that I did back in 2020, we were putting chainstay brakes on it in addition to a disc, so we had dropped the chainstay down on the bottom bracket. And I got rid of the U-brake mounts, so this
I love this tapered chainstays. This is so cool.
It's a way cleaner look.
Purdy.
The chainstay is parallel with the axle slot this way, instead of the axle slot being like this, which, or no, I guess whatever it was ugly. So I love the way that bike rides, but it's pretty ugly. Now here's the big
That's
thing.
a tiny detail. It's not that big a deal.
This is the seat
But
sub-assembly
when you've been making
drawing.
frames that long, if you've got your druthers, you
Does that look familiar to anybody?
might as well get it the way you want it.
It's basically a Challenger.
I was gonna say.
S&M frame of all time. So why not? Why not do it again?
Challenger.
It's got the monostay. Single bend, actually double bend. We still have the double bend, so that's different than a Challenger. We have the double bend seat stays. So when the stay comes into the dropout on the seat stay,
The double bend allows the
see it's got that second
be
bend.
able to run a
See
much
that?
wider tire,
It's kind of subtle.
which
But
man,
it looks really
everybody's
clean, and
into
the main
really
reason why we did that-
really fat tires now compared to
So when you
the past.
put the
High pressure
the
but
disc
big tires.
mount
Not just the circumference,
on
but
the
the actual
dropout,
fatness
it
of the
runs
tires. Really fat
parallel
tires.
to the seat stay.
2.3s on the
If you
back and
didn't
stuff.
do
It's
that
crazy.
second bend,
Remember when everything was to be a 1.9s
that's
back in the day
exaggerated,
with
but
high
it'd be a
pressure
little bit more
tires.
like that. So this allows the
Darn near
dropout.
2.5 inches.
Oh,
Fit
and then
thick.
here's,
Crazy.
So you lay it out.
Crazy.
You know, the monostay is going to be
Alright. I don't need to futz with these scratches on the side until I dress these ends. I want to get the shape round with the crowning. Now I'm gonna
where we are right now with the sub
round over the ends.
But let's go take a look at the front triangle.
I'm gonna rough them in with the steel file.
Triangle.
Steel crowning file, steel crowning file.
Front triangle.
Which makes
A little bit taller head tube.
filing dust, so I'm gonna get towels out of the way.
stack washers. Now I can just drop my coolant stem right down on the headset and put my bars.
Gonna go with the rubber pads because I can vacuum those. Save the coconut oil that's in that for another job.
The taller standover on up there in the. We're looking at like 10-inch standover, so it's pretty tall. I don't think we have any 20-inch frames.
Nah, there wouldn't be any 20s with a 10-inch standover. Seat tube height.
Looks way more proportioned with the taller standover. So it's just kind of like a grown-up's 20-inch bike. It's a kid's bike for grown-ups, basically. And I like to run my seat pretty high. And then when I like pedal around town, I like to run it really high. So originally when we did the 2020 version, we did the 27.2 seat tube because the only quick release clamps we could get were 30 mil. Now I have a 28.6 quick release clamp that's going to come with every frame. So you'll be able to quick release, but still use a regular 25.4 post. You don't have to get that race size post.
Yeah.
Plus we're using a butted seat tube. We're using a different top tube that's lighter, and I'm trying to get this frame under 5 pounds. So, you know, by comparison, a CCR, which I was riding before this, is about 5 1/4. I'm trying to get this under 5 pounds. So it's a bigger frame, but it's going to be lighter, so it's kind of more, almost raceable, which is what I like, because I want to race again, but I don't really want to have to keep switching around all the time. So maybe you can go to 2 local races or whatever on your Mad Dog, and then if you're going to get real serious, go to nationals or whatever, you can get a Speedwagon.
Steel Panther.
Huh?
Steel Panther.
Yeah.
Steel Panther. Yeah.
Steel Panther. So the other thing we've got Walmart Made USA here. I did a bigger shield. I did the black bike engraving on the head tube, but we blew it up by 25%. Because we have a taller head tube. We don't have gyro mounts, so I was able to wrap it around further and also get taller.
This light blows that shot up, man. Just camera hates this silly light. Whatever. Pretty. Machining. CNC machining at its finest. Pretty.
This is the old black bike head tube.
Yeah, it's just got
like that shield engraving. It's pretty straightforward, clean.
Tall faux cups in it.
Mad Dog
instead of the skinny ones.
Taller, 5-inch head tube. So
that's cool.
We made the shield 25% bigger. Because we could.
I like that old black bike. It's cool looking. I like the way the shoulders of the
So we changed the program up.
The bearing race was like square, straight.
This one looks really good.
Pretty.
And now we're doing one final sample.
Wow.
With the machining just a little bit deeper. So it's like the biggest shield we've ever engraved in a head tube. It's a cool shield. It looks really cool. The guts has got a Sharpie shield on it. And then on the non-drive side or the left side, it's going to have the plate just like the prototype with the shield in it. And it'll have the model name stamped into it as well.
Don't even need decals anymore because they got so many badges on it.
You get a good view of how much nicer the frame looks than the Mad Dog prototype that I'm riding now. The centered chainstay, parallel with the axle slot. This whole thing looks so clean. Where the other one was down here, that drop out was crazy and it had this tensioner in it. And it was just, there was so much going on. It was just crazy.
I'm not a fan of the wishbone stay at the top, but
just how much was going on.
That mono stay, but
and then here's that Challenger seat stay sub-assembly with the second bend.
It's pretty cool though.
So it's going to be disc only.
No other brakes.
Yeah, but honestly, I couldn't get the disc to work before. I didn't know much about them. I was trying to do a removable mount on the dropout. That was a bad idea. Now we have the permanent mount. I have the little 120 disc on there.
Yeah.
I finally figured out that you can adjust the lever out. I have the Shimano lever. I didn't know you could adjust it out. So at first, I was just hating it because it was smashing my knuckle.
Yeah, it's like.
And then I realized you can adjust this thing. So now I've got it out with tons of clearance. I've got some kind of pads in there, organic pads or something that aren't real grabby with a little 120 rotor. They work so good. It's like, it's insane. I love it.
Game changer.
He's not going to be doing a bunch of grinds, so the disc on there, this break's okay.
Final prototype.
I'm going to be ramming it into curbs.
Basically, the
pretty nice, man.
same
Pretty
geometry
sweet.
as a CCR, more or less.
Pretty.
That's what I've been riding for, I don't know, 8 years or something. I love that thing. But this one's taller, bigger head, and it's lighter.
The missus did a grocery order and was trying to get 8 individual bananas. She ended up getting 8 bunches of bananas, so I think I'm gonna make a fruit smoothie with a bunch of bananas in it, because we got a lot of them. Sounds good. Need something to eat. That much carbs and liquid, I need to have it now before too late, otherwise it'll stuff me up having that much carbs in my water uptake. Make my nose stuffy. Sweet. Tack welded. All those beautiful welds will close all that in, man. Super sweet. Wow, 74 1/4. Very specific head tube angle. That turn on a dime, dude. Some frames go as steep as 75 degrees. But yeah, 74-ish is hard to beat, man. Dum 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 dum. Put some lube in there. Ream that seat mass to fit the seat post tubing accurately. Not too tight, not too loose. No weird ovalized melty problems from the welds. Just gotta smooth all that out. They do a good job. That's why that stuff's expensive, man. They make that stuff for real. Oh yeah. It says we still have 5 viewers in the kick world, which means we could. That we're gonna have the option to host someone if we want to. Zeppelin is streaming, you guys. We're gonna go say hi to Zeppelin. We're gonna go say hi to Zeppelin, man, because he's in the Mustard Network. He's a mustard bro, which we all could get with. I'm probably gonna show up in his own. He's gonna be tuned into his own stream. That's all right. So let's go see Zep, man. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna come over and stop streaming on